Let's look at our options for adding the block icons. Again, similar to the description and the keywords, we have the option in block.json. However, that is somewhat limited. If we go to the documentation, so this is the reference for the block.json resource, and you can see here that it accepts a string. And that string can be any of the predefined WordPress dash icons. So that is somewhat old project in the world of WordPress. Comes from the days when icons were added as fonts, but essentially this is a library of predefined icons that are available, and they're available as SVGs, and they're bundled with WordPress out of the box. So if you wanted to add an icon, any of the icons from this selection, all you have to do is copy this string representation. So everything apart from the dash icons dash prefix, this thing here, and that is the string that we can add. Let's start with that approach and then review the manual JavaScript route as a follow-up. So there is a chat icon, which I think maps nicely to kind of the question and answer. Let's use that for our example here. So in this case, we're copying the format chat string reference here, and then going back to our editor. And then under the WP Shout plugin, right under the source directory where our blocks are defined, if we go to the block.json, under the description, let's say that's a good spot for it, we can say icon equals format chat. Make sure that the npm run start is still running within the WP Shout directory. If we go now to the browser and refresh our block demo here, then entering the FAQ block, we now have a new icon. That's really cool. If we expand the navigation here, you can see that the icon is present here. It's also present in the sidebar as well. Let's do that also for the FAQ item. But now, instead of adding it in the block.json, let's add it in the JS. So during the block registration. So we come here and the answer is something, is this quote probably. So let's use this one. And now instead of going into that block.json for the FAQ item, we're going to go into the index, scroll down where we have this here, and we're going to say icon equals a string like that. So now if we refresh the editor, let's just save it here as well. Now we should have this icon displaying. That's really nice. So we now have both the icon for the wrapper and the actual FAQ item. So what is our other option? So similar to how we use the dash icons from the library of this here, there is also a WordPress icons package. So we can import a component. So in this case, we have a set of icons also that we can import from this package. And if we pull up the library, here is the set of all the icons. So you can see here that there are way more icons available to choose from. So let's try and replace the answer with an icon from this library. So in this case, we're going to use this other quote. So how do we import this now? Let's actually just say we're going to use it as a component. And then here we're saying import quote from WordPress icons. That's great. But notice that in this npm run start window, so where it's building, continuously monitoring the changes, it's now saying that there is an error. So if we scroll further up, we're going to see that the WordPress icons is not available. So that's because the WordPress icons is not one of the packages that is bundled with WordPress core. So if we want to add it, we need to go back to this WP Shout plugin directory and say open in integrated terminal. And then we can say npm install, and we can save it as a development dependency because we're going to be bundling during the build step. And we're going to say save dev and then WordPress icons. Now if we do that and then close this out and restart the builder, we can see now that it rebuilt successfully, and we can go back to the browser And let's save it as such and refresh the page. And now we have the other icon. So this is now coming in from that library. Let's look at what other options are there. Your best bet is basically to scroll through this list. It's being continuously updated, and then pick the one that you like and just use it as such. So in this lesson, we looked at how we can use block.json to add one of the icons from the Dashicons library, or we can use the JavaScript side of things when we're registering the block and passing in the icons property and an icon from the WordPress/icons library. In the next lesson, we'll look at how we can use custom SVG, so either as a file or as a string, and use that for our block.